been a long time. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been forever since I've posted on this channel. I usually post on the channel once a week, sometimes twice a week if I'm lucky and I have my editing game sorted out. Today's video is going to be a fun one. I thought it would be fun to share with you guys my high school experience, being in 4 years of high school. I thought it would be fun to share my experience and stories with you. I don't plan on making this video super long, but trying to go in as much detail as I possibly can with each year, starting from 9th grade. So, freshman year, I went to Albany High School and I graduated in 2015. So I went there from freshman year was definitely one of the hardest. I would say each year was definitely harder than the last, but definitely 9th grade, being my first year there, was definitely very difficult. Freshman year was very difficult emotionally, personally, and just there was a lot going on at home and at school. With it being my first year in high school, it was definitely very chaotic. That time of my freshman year at school, my father was going through a lot of health issues, starting with needing a bunch of surgeries and things like that. So there was a lot weighing on me during my 9th grade year. There was a lot going on. Navigating a brand new school, navigating a schedule that I have to follow daily every day, that was a lot. But each day was definitely worth it. I made a lot of friends in school, met a lot of great teachers, a lot of great adults that helped me through my journey of high school and made it worth what it is. Moving on to my 10th grade year, my sophomore year. Each year, like I said, was more difficult than the last one, but 10th grade was a lot difficult because it was my first year of taking the Regents state exams. I, at the time, never took those before, so I never knew what I was up against with taking those exams and the amount of curriculum and the amount of knowledge that you have to intake and you have to instill in your brain. The amount of curriculum for the subjects that they have you take these exams. There was English that I took in my junior year. There was the biology exam. There was my algebra exam. And I think that was it then. I'm pretty sure there was one more though. Maybe that was in... I think there was my history exam also. A lot of the exams I had to take multiple times because I ended up failing them. For anybody that knows me, knows that I stress myself out with anything and everything school related. I would stress myself out to the max. Like literally, I would drive myself insane. Not only because I would want to get the highest grade possible and do the best that I can, because I would strive for probably like 80 and 90s in all my classes. 80s and 90s being the highest grade possible. But I would just always want to do my best, and I would always be in very, very stressful situations because in a lot of my classes there was always students misbehaving and students just goofing off, being crazy teenagers and doing crazy things. By the time 10th grade rolled around, I knew that I had to take my algebra exam, my biology exam, and my world history exam, I believe, was another one. All three of those exams have so much curriculum that my brain had to remember because they can't help you on the exam. The most that they can help you with is reading the questions to you and trying to reword it for you. That's the most that they can do. But other than taking notes or showing your work as best as possible and reading the exam fully to you, that is the most that they can do. Because it's a state exam, they really can't do more than that. Each of those exams were definitely very, very, very difficult, and there was, again, a lot of material to remember, a lot of notes and key things to memorize. And what's funny is I would memorize it in the classroom, but when it came time for the exam, when it came time for the exams, oh my god, it would like go flushing down a toilet. It would be so bad. But that was pretty much just the 10th grade year, getting used to those exams pretty much. In my 11th grade year, being my third year at that school, my junior year was definitely a lot more elaborate, if you will. I again had to take Regents exams. I actually had to end up taking the biology exam until my senior year, actually. But I also had to take my English exam, my English Regents exam, which honestly felt very simple. That was a pretty easy exam. Easy as in I recognized a lot of the curriculum and the content of the test. I did a ton of studying. I was very relaxed that time around. I memorized all the charts and all the keywords, at least most of them, to get by. So I ended up passing that exam, I would say about the first try. I believe I passed it. For those of you that are new and don't really understand, I had what was called an IEP growing up in school. It's an IEP, which stands for Individualized Education Plan, and it basically has an entire document that basically represents what you are entailed of. And what I mean by that is it basically represents what you're entailed of and what things you can have during tests and how the school curriculum is supposed to be taught to you, pretty much. It's very beneficial. It is very by law. I believe it's by law. The school has to abide by that plan. Of every teacher had a copy of that plan. Every single one, from freshman year to my senior year. Every teacher had a copy of that plan. Every single one, from freshman year to my senior year. So I was very grateful for that, because during exams and during tests, I needed to have quiet areas, or I needed to be in a quiet room. And I also got, on Regents exams, I also got time and a half. Time and a half is basically, for each exam, it's about 3 hours. For each of those Regents exams, it's about 3 hours. But because I get time and a half, I get double that. Instead of 3, I would get 6, which I didn't end up staying there for 6 hours. I probably ended up staying there for maybe about 4 hours, because I really wanted to make sure that I had the right answers and things like that. I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was writing down, because anything you write down then, because most of the exams had to be done in pen, when you write in pen, you can't erase it. Definitely by then, it was very, very stressful, but at the time, that's what the teachers are there for. The teachers are there to prepare you for these exams. Each year was very memorable, I'll say that, but then my senior year rolled around, and that is when it became a lot more real, I'll say. I say it became a lot more real because with it being my senior year, I had a lot to do. I had other exams that I needed to finish and hopefully pass so I could graduate on time with my graduating class. In order to graduate, you needed to have health and gym. You needed to pass those two in order to graduate. You have to have those. For those of you that also don't know, I graduated with a variance on my exam, on any of my exams, which was I believe a 55 or 56%, and that was passing. Due to the fact that I have an IEP, 55 or 56 or anything above that was considered passing and called a variance. Passing with a high enough grade to put you able to graduate and able to graduate on time with your graduating class. Like I said, I graduated in 2015. It was very memorable. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet, But each year I also had a favorite teacher or favorite teachers every year. And throughout the years, I still kept in contact with those teachers. But then my senior year rolled around, and it was incredibly, incredibly difficult. For anybody that knows me, knows that each year during the summer, I pretty much did not like it. I was very upset. I was always very upset, very emotional on the last day of school each year because I knew that it would be a summer, and yes, I would go back, but I was always afraid that I wouldn't see that spring teacher again. I was always an emotional wreck. Pretty much every year at the end of the school year, I was pretty much heartbroken. Like, I don't know any other way to put it except heartbroken, depressed, angry, frustrated. As I got closer to graduation, I was very grateful because actually my senior year I ended up passing with honor roll, but a high honor roll, which is called I believe it was called the principal's list at the time. For honor roll, you needed to have 85 or above as your GPA. For principal's list, you needed to have I believe it was a 90 or above. And I got it most of the time in my senior year. In my senior year, all 4 quarters of senior year, I got the principal's list every single time. I strived for extremely high grades and managed to pass. I managed to pass, if I can remember correctly, with like a 90 or a 92, something like that, of a GPA in my senior year, which is the highest that I've had, being high school, that is. By the time graduation day came, June 28th, 2015, I was excited. I was pretty nervous also because parents and families looking at you. But it was definitely worth it. I got my diploma, I saw my friends, I took pictures, I saw a very, very special friend, so if you're watching this, then you know who you are. If you hear any walking around, it's just my mom. She must be waking up from a nap or something. But that's all, it's usually just me in the house. Graduation was definitely memorable. I remember getting my diploma. I remember walking across the stage, and it was the most phenomenal feeling that I could ever picture. And moving my sash to the side, saying that I graduated. That was the most incredible feeling. I will never forget that. Even though I had a lot of tragedy happen after, I still remember getting my cap and gown, going through the rehearsal, and getting my diploma that day. It was phenomenal, and I'll never forget it. High school was definitely a very loving, memorable place for me, and I'll never, ever, ever forget it. And nothing can ever replace it. I think it's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope that you guys enjoyed my high school experience. Like I said, each year was definitely difficult, but memorable from the last. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you are not, and I will see you guys in the next video.